fun things I hope.
And then we divided.
I don't know if we're gonna do anything with it.
Right, yeah, and then we divided it into some.
Is the sound okay? Is that coming through?
Where Steve and you looked at the idea of research consultations.
Yeah.
And he said I did work on doing a reference service.
We have some, I forget what they use.
Or our new, I don't care. We broke it down.
If she doesn't take it out, that's not my problem. She deals with that. That's what they know.
So let's treat them separately.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
There you go.
So you may want to just have those ready for people up front. To be checking sound when people are talking.
If one person thinks it's a bad word, I will do it.
Do something different with like a vent.
But I know that. Yeah. I don't think
We are live.
without it, we were sure having a chat about it first. Right. And then just make sure. Like right when you first did. Oh, okay, because that's where the camera is. Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay. That's what I.
We'll get started in like a minute or two.
No, I get it. All right.
Is everyone here?
All right. Yeah. Counted it, right? Yeah. Got it. Okay with that.
Not yet. Should we get started and?
Yeah, I mean, I have a few things to say, and that.
Yeah, I mean,
We could.
Actually, you can't be first. So they do only when I come. So don't go anywhere.
It's like,
Yes,
we should
it's
give
just,
it.
yeah, yeah, it's just class, I think, and yeah, we can get started and then she can
Because we
join
could,
us at the end.
We've got other stuff.
yeah, we could do like treasury up to there. Do you want, we could start off with just, are we ready to go, Steve?
Yes, we're ready. We're good.
All right.
Thanks to Craig.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome to Libraries Assembly on the west side of campus. So today, our update is just that we've moved the January business meeting to the 11th, and it will also be followed by an hour-long professional concerns meeting, and that will be held in Memorial Commons. So that's just our little update for today, and I'll turn it over to Julie to take it away with the Treasury update.
I'm gonna set an in-off for 2 minutes. So quick update, not much to report from the Treasury. In our savings account, we have $59.04. That really doesn't change from meeting to meeting. In our checking account, we have $1,157.42. We've had a couple of programming things happen already this year. eTalk run the previous business meeting, so that is why that has changed. Any questions about Librarians Assembly Treasury? I can go ahead with the ULC update. Okay. So Ian Benton wasn't able to be here today, so I'm just providing a quick ULC update. So at our last meeting, which was last week, Ed shared some updates with the ULC, including some good news, the Shakespeare First Folio events. Go Big Read was a really big success. And also he and Ben Strand, who was present at the ULC meeting, shared that they're organizing a spring fundraising event for the libraries, which will be happening on May 10th or 11th or thereabouts. And that they're working on that with Bill Cronin. This is sponsored by the Friends and the UW Foundation, so Ben Strand is working on that. There was a suggestion from a faculty member on the ULC for the libraries to provide a policy document to assist faculty and researchers with understanding their rights and what rights to reserve when publishing. It was an interesting bit of feedback from a faculty member. And then the chair of the ULC, Dan Klingenberg, noted that the ULC is putting together a website that breaks down open access issues for faculty, and I suspect that Carrie Nelson is also involved with that. There was also a push from a couple of faculty members for clarification and transparency around decision-making for consolidation, as well as for receiving input and questions from the larger campus. Leslie Moyo is putting together a communications team, which is tasked with providing timelines and transparency around consolidation issues.
This is
Yes.
actually a consolidation implementation team.
Oh,
And
thank
it
you.
will have information on it for communications and communication after every board meeting.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Also, Florence Shaw shared an update on the Memorial Library Committee. It sounds like they are busy doing lots of work reviewing space and Memorial Library collections and sort of looking towards future plans for the library. And then finally, Ben Strand shared library donor profiles at the request of members of the ULC. Any questions or clarification needed? Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. We'll turn it over to Carla.
All right, thank you for the invite. Is this good? So I'm Carla Strand. I'm the Gender and Women's Studies Librarian for the UW system. I'm also serving as your chair for the Equity and Diversity Committee, EDC. You'll probably remember that EDC was formed as a recommendation from the Diversity Task Force and their hard work. So we're here just to give you a bit of an update. So EDC is comprised of, and I'm not going to name everyone because I don't know that I have everyone on my list, but it's comprised of a lot of hardworking folks here in the libraries who really are dedicated to equity and diversity issues. So we have a main steering committee, which we're just calling EDC. And then we also have 6 subcommittees. And so I'll give an EDC update and a couple of the subcommittee updates, and then I'm going to turn it over to the chairs of the other committees to give their updates. So each committee has a chair and also a liaison then to this, like the EDC steering committee. So the EDC update, we're working on a plan for increased communication and more effective communication. So I think we've done all right. It's been a bumpy start, but it's been we've done all right trying to communicate out to the libraries what it is that we're doing. We know that there's been feedback saying that folks want to talk to us about things that are going on as well. So just know that we're trying to figure out the best way to have that feedback loop happening, not only among the members of the EDC, but with all library staff as well. It's just not a perfect way to do it, right? Because we don't want to inundate you with more email. We do have the wiki, so please go to the wiki. We're happy to send that email or that URL out again if folks need it. But bear with us. Hopefully, we will get some new ideas and try to improve that communication loop. There's an ongoing discussion on how to track diversity efforts outside of the EDC, and so we're trying to make them really easily accessible to library staff. So be watching for that as well. We've got some committees that we're still trying to figure out where one ends and the other begins. So you will be hearing from Jessica from the Training and Education Committee and probably some other folks from EDC with regards to different opportunities around campus. But I think as Wayne demonstrated to us last week, 2 weeks ago, that y'all can send things out as well, right? We see that happening too. So please don't wait for us or contact us if there's something that you want us to share out with the libraries. Hopefully everyone saw the email announcement that went out about discussion sessions that will be taking place tomorrow. Tomorrow's is here, right? In this room, so Steenbach 340, from 11 to 1. The second one then will be held on Tuesday in Memorial Commons, and that's on the 4th floor. It's room 460, also from 11 to 1. So we really encourage everyone to make it if you can. You can come and go as you need to. You can come to both if you want to, but you don't have to. They are going to be facilitated discussions. So we know that these are challenging topics with regards to diversity, equity, inclusion. We might talk about the diversity forum, but mainly I think it's going to be a discussion of some of the local and national events that have been going on that have been challenging for a lot of us to deal with. So we're excited to be holding those sessions. Yes.
I just want to add that if you're unable to attend either of the meetings and you want to show interest, please email me.
So email Todd if you wanted to come and you're not able to make it.
Right.
Thank you. Good reminder. Okay, so from the website update, Carrie Cruz, Jennifer Halko could not be here. So their update is they are working on, so the website committee, I think I said that. So they're working on content for a public-facing diversity site for the libraries. They do have a space established on the LWS and a wiki page for the working content. There's still, they want us to know there's still a considerable amount of work to be done with regards to content and design especially, and to find a pool of items for part of the site that will focus on featuring examples of featured news and resources that will be refreshed on a regular basis. So that's from the website committee. The recruitment committee, recruitment and hiring update. So Nancy Graf Schultz and Travis could not be here to give that update. So they are looking into recruitment and hiring initiatives at other universities. And I know it's taken a while to kind of gather that data, so they're doing a lot of that. And they've divided up the duties as to who will be reading what documents and contacting who, and reporting back at their next meeting. And so that's what I have for EDC in those two committees. We've also got strategic planning, onboarding, climate and staff engagement.
It's okay, that's why.
CASE, we just call it CASE, so now I don't know what it stands for anymore. And training and education, so y'all can fight over who wants to go next.
No, you're good.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kat Bond. Jessica Newman is the chair of the Training and Education Subcommittee, but she couldn't be here today, so I am the liaison. I'm on EDC, so I'm a liaison to the subcommittee. So what Training and Education has been up to, like a lot of the other subcommittees, and been doing a lot of data gathering and sort of like scanning what other people are doing. So we did contact 18 of our campus libraries to see what other people are doing around diversity training practices. We've looked at our peer institutions and seen, tried to gather what they're doing around diversity training. We've looked at the campus documents together, so Forward Together, which is the campus diversity framework, and reviewed that and are trying to align our community with the campus. We've also reviewed the ACRL diversity standards, cultural competency for academic libraries, and have submitted a recommendation that we use these as our learning outcomes for our own cultural competency, and also have submitted a recommendation around communication around training opportunities for staff. And we're also in the process of planning some staff trainings for the spring, working with Julie and Chrissy, who work for the always had some facilitated training to see if that might work for some. So expect to hear more from training in education around specific training that we're planning, and then also in general opportunities.
Right, so I'm Deborah Hellman, and I am the chair of the Strategic Diversity Planning Task Force. And we've been asked to come up with a strategic plan around diversity for campus libraries. So we've been just really trying to, the last few months, get our heads kind of wrapped around what that means and what the process would look like. And so we have a draft of the roadmap, which we're almost ready to share, but I can tell you a few of the big things that we're looking at. Right now, we've been doing some peer benchmarking. We're this week we have a conversation with someone from the University of Michigan around their new strategic diversity plan. We're going to be talking to someone in the School of Business about what they're doing. So we're just trying to kind of get a feel for what other people are doing as we kind of think about what we would like to do. We are going to be interviewing individually all of the members of the GLS executive team in January, and then kind of trying to also figure out like what our different task forces and subcommittees and the EDC itself are looking to see. And then right now we're in the middle of trying to figure out how we engage the rest of you in that plan, how we get input about what you want to see in the strategic diversity plan. So we're on that soon, but we're really hoping on drafting something, and it may be a little bit aspirational by the summer, and then having a lot of engagement around that draft plan. So look forward to hearing more from us soon and giving us a lot of input. So thanks.
I'm Craig Cook, chair of the onboarding subcommittee. Currently, much like the strategic planning committee, are trying to wrap our heads around onboarding in general. Right now, we're trying to build a definition for onboarding to essentially create a timeline for ourselves on the materials we want to generate or the processes for onboarding we want to create. Part of that process is sharing experiences for onboarding, whether that's somebody who's from the area or somebody who's from outside, because those are apparently very different experiences in order to find the flaws in the current onboarding process, but also figure out what's good about the current onboarding process. We plan on adapting the handbook that is currently handed out to new staff, as well as adapt how we work with the separate departments and what we require the onboarding process to be like. And we're also investigating establishing a kind of standing group that might be involved with an email list so that anybody who's new to campus can reach out to this group and ask any question they feel that they need to ask.
So I'm Todd Michelson Ambelang, and I'm the new chair of the Climate and Staff Engagement Subcommittee. And so right now we are working, this is going to be kind of a bunch of different things because I'm on a number of different committees that kind of come together and work together in this. So right now in the committee itself, we're working to create a climate feedback forum. And we are also looking at, we're in the midst of creating affinity group guidelines. We'll be working to create affinity group guidelines so that affinity groups can create themselves. Then I also wanted to talk about the fact that we are working with the Librarians Assembly in my role as the professional concerns chair in setting up after the January 11th meeting from 12 to 1. We'll be having a number of people from around campus, including representatives from the Office of Equity and Diversity, the Ombuds Office, the University Police, HR, and there's one other thing, to come in and talk. So there'll be an open forum about what to do in the workplace or on campus when one feels unsafe or has a problem with either coworkers, supervisors, basically anybody. So that'll be a question and answer round. That again will be in the Commons at Memorial Library. And then finally, we have set up the time for the professional concerns meetings. There was one this last Monday. The next one will be on January 13th, just because of the holidays and people taking time off. That'll be in college. Then Thursday, March 2nd at 9 a.m. in Steenbach. Wednesday, April 12th in Memorial in 126. And Tuesday, May 16th at noon in college. So trying to make all different areas of campus represented. There are no questions. I'll sit down.
Oh,
yes.
So are those professional concerns committee meetings or listening sessions?
Listening sessions.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
they are the listening sessions. I keep saying that, and I mean listening sessions. So everybody is welcome. Please come. Yes.
I just want to add one thing. I've been part of the planning for the January 11th event. I
couple days, right?
Right.
Great. And I've been in contact with one of the panelists, and Todd and I were discussing it, and it sounds like they are really excited to come talk to us.
Yeah.
And really looking forward to it. So I think it's going to be a really good panel. And even if you're not sure like what your relationship might be to the topic, it could be something you could hear that can help a coworker, help
Exactly.
a friend.
Yeah,
It sounds like they're going to come and tell us really good stuff.
It seems this came from a discussion in the fact that we kind of felt that there are so many different resources on campus, and we don't necessarily know who to go in which situation. So it's kind of a good idea that we have these people come in and say, first of all, what they can offer, what the solution to problems on campus and at work, or even if you witness something, what to do. There are a lot of rules and regulations that go around what they can do, what they are available for. And so hopefully this will clear it up so that you can help yourself and help others if necessary.
Thank you. Kelly, do you want to go next?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Hughes from College Library. I just have two quick updates for you, one about library ambassadors and then one about ISIP. So we'll start with library ambassadors. I just wanted to give you an update that the program is going strong. We've met with them. We've had 2 meetings with them this month and 1 training session with them, which is to give them information about how the libraries work so that they can help students get started with research and feel comfortable inhabiting that role. The 2 meetings we had with them that were more businessy meetings, one was with IDWAG, so they gave us feedback about the tips and tricks, research tips and tricks page. And then just this past Monday, they met with a group of students who are developing an app for College Library, or for all campus, I guess, but starting with College Library to report facilities issues. So if you have a need to talk with the library ambassadors, or you want to know more about how the library ambassadors might be useful for something you want assessed or want feedback on, let me know. We're probably not going to meet again in November just because of the holiday, and we've already met twice. And I don't know if we're going to meet in December. We can always call a meeting if something comes up and you want to get feedback as soon as possible. You can also let me know if you want me to promote something to them, so that they can spread the word to their peers, or just that they should know about it. And we also have them volunteering at campus events frequently. So if you have an event coming up, they're very enthusiastic, and will definitely help out that way. Yeah.
Can you remind us the makeup of the ambassadors?
Sure. So it's a voluntary program. So we have undergraduates, graduates, and we're trying to get a good representation from students across campus. And we still are trying to, we're always recruiting students. So right now we have probably like 25 students, but maybe 10 of them are really active. So, you know, we would like it so that we have a good representation at each meeting we have. The last 2 we had, I think the one on Monday we had 5 students, and then the one a couple weeks ago at IDWAG, we had like 8 students. So that's pretty good for a focus group. But we just want to make sure that we have, you know, that kind of critical mass so that it's worthwhile, all the planning and everything that goes into those kinds of things. So if you know of a student, we do have some of our student workers who serve as ambassadors as well. So if you know of a student who is enthusiastic about the libraries and wants to represent the libraries or do more with the libraries, you can direct them to our online application, which is really just asking them for their background information, and then there's some optional short answer questions about why they might be interested in serving in that role. And we want to do more with the website too, to have a page that shows who our current ambassadors are, so that students can go there and find out if there's an ambassador who has the same major as them or lives in the residence halls. Yeah. Any questions at all? Okay, so as you may have seen, I sent out a couple of calls for supervisor availability for next semester for ISIP. So I just wanted to remind you of that again, that many of you have gotten back to me already, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. But by next Tuesday, so that we can start planning where people are going to be stationed next semester, that would be great. If you've never served as an ISIP supervisor, get in touch and we can meet up and share information about what that entails. We'll have 5 students next semester. We have 5 students currently. We hired 2 students this semester, Anna Wong and Katie Gagan. Anna is in the Teaching and Learning Programs office, and Katie is at College Library doing Public Services. Next semester, we'll have 3 students who are doing their 16-week modules. So we'll have Jorge, Alex, and Kieran in their 16-week placement. So we have, Kieran's going to be at SLIS, so we're still figuring out Jorge and Alex. So if you are interested in doing the 16-week module in particular, let me know. We generally work with the intern to figure out the best placement for them based on their academic or career goals. But if you have ideas for that, let me know. And then, of course, Anna and Katie will be doing 2 more half-semester modules. So that's really our update there. Any questions about that? All right, thank you.
All right. And Pamela?
Okay, I just wanted to let you know that I attended the CASI meeting last month. It's a cold day, one of the few we've had this fall. So there weren't very many attendees at Union South, but you can understand. It is a collection of committees on academic staff issues, of which you can see Librarians Assembly is one. So we're a little different than I think most of the units on campus in that they actually just have one committee, and so they don't hold business meetings. They don't really solicit a lot of feedback from their constituents, such as we do. And a lot of their work is spent kind of negotiating the difference between academic staff and faculty, and making sure everyone is getting kind of equal treatment. And it sounds like they do a lot of direct reporting to their dean, and it can be semi-contentious. So I feel we're in a very good position here at the Librarians Assembly. At least we're all kind of working towards the same goals. One of the things that they revealed was that there's been some work for people who are funded completely on soft money, grant monies, that they can actually participate in academic staff governance, so that you can be a little less than completely truthful in the 100% commitment that you're making to the grant on that kind of money. So that seemed a good step forward, progress for academic staff. They did share some slides, which I thought were kind of interesting, so I made copies. The first one is basically snapshots of all of the different CASIs and how they're kind of being represented in the academic staff programs. So in this slide, you can see that I was actually a little surprised that librarians in the general library system make up only 1.4% of the academic staff on campus. So I'm sitting next to the woman from the medical school, which was 30%. I was like, wow, failure awards. So you can kind of see how many professional development grants that the general library system applied for and received over a 5-year average. So there's an average of 4 applications and receiving about half of them. I have a feeling that we should really take advantage of these programs, because if we go to the next slide, the executive education grants we've never applied for, and as a result, it never if you want to go to the next slide. Yeah, and we don't really get a lot of recognition for our excellence either. So there was a spike in submissions in 2011, 2012, but as it looks over the last 5 years, we have not received any awards. And when I was sitting next to the woman from the medical school, she had a lot more orange. Finally, we have a little information on promotions to distinguished prefects. So the number of applications, and orange is the number granted by year. So I can share this information out if anyone's interested. I just, we had never received statistics before from the academic staff secretary, so it was kind of interesting. Any questions about it?
So this executive education, do you know like how much those grants are and what they're available for?
If you want to go back to that. Next one. And I think the picture is a link. Maybe if you want to try to keep it open. Yeah, they just give you a little bit of information. So it's actually a training where you can go to the program through the business school. It'll open the floor. There we go. So it's the Executive Education of the University of Wisconsin School of Business and the Department of Engineering. So it might not be that they're very appropriate for our unit, but it did seem like it was something that went well.
So it's continuing education through the business school or in Department of Engineering. It's not just like anything you are. Yeah,
Is it executive education as in being educated to be an executive maybe?
Okay. So usually in business have like a set of continuing ed courses that they market for people in leadership roles.
Right.
Any other questions?
I have a comment. Those excellence awards, the call is out right now. So if we want to get our numbers up, this might be the opportunity. Yeah, I can send it out to you someday to remind you. I'm sure you all been getting them to you. They're up right now. We're all excellent. Now thank you.
All right, so I'm Steve Fry from college, and I'm on the programming committee. Peggy Smith from business, and Craig Cook from college. So a few things. First, eTalk Run. November's eTalk Run will happen this Friday, and right after this meeting, we'll be sending out an email. And then reminding people again on Friday morning. So we've switched it up this year, and we're doing some in the mornings and some in the afternoon, kind of alternating by month or over the lunch hour. And so this Friday it's noon to 1. It's in Memorial Commons 460, and the topics are campus protests, oral history, Troy Reeves, wireless displays, which you're starting to see in a lot of study rooms, which we actually have here. And Jay Ray from college is going to just give a brief presentation on that. And serving in the National Guard is Dennis Trest from Memorial. So those are the 3 topics, 3 presentations. So come for one of them, come for all of them. It's up to you. We'll have coffee, bagels, cream cheese as we normally do. And just to give you a sense of some of the other topics that we've had so far this semester. October we have Rag Ride, which is the bike tour across Iowa. I'll let you figure out what Rag Ride stands for. Go Big Read. Sheila gave a great presentation about Go Big Read and metalsmithing, which is really, really great. Carl, is it Croshaw? I hope I get it right. I'll edit it out of the stream. All right, so that was October. In September, we had print management strategy, Heather Welton, what's happening with the chemistry library with Ariel, and all things roller derby with Casey. So those are some of the presentations so far this year. In terms of eTalk Run. Book sharing program is scheduled for Friday, December 16th, noon to 1:30 in Memorial Commons. So if that's not in your calendar, you may want to go ahead and put that in your calendar. Spring Librarians Assembly Award event is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, April 27th. So again, give you time to put that in your calendar if it's not there already. If you have other topics for eTalk Run, please let myself, Peggy, or Craig know. And if you have any additional programming ideas for other kinds of social events, we really haven't planned any other kinds of social events, so if you have some ideas, we'd love to hear them. We can pick them up and run them. So that's the update.
Thank you. Next, academic staff assembly update from Ellen, Aaron, and Tom.
So it's just going to be myself. Aaron will probably present at some point in the future. So there were 2 meetings. I'm going to present on the first meeting from October, and I think Ellen will do the November meeting. So the first meeting that we're going to present on is the Academic Staff Assembly meeting on October 10th. There are a number of things that were part of the agenda. I'm not going to go through everything. I'll just kind of hit on some of the main points that were made during the meeting. There were a couple of guest speakers, Brian McMerlin, the Assistant Director from Jewett Academic Technology, and Elizabeth Harris, Director of Collaborative Engineering Education and Teaching Effectiveness. They discussed the Canvas system that's coming up. So we've heard quite a bit about this. It's going to replace Moodle and D2L in the summer of 2018. Apparently right now there are already 650 credit classes that are using Canvas. So it's being integrated into classes very quickly. And over the next couple of years, the other systems will be completely phased out and will just be going to Canvas. There was another guest presentation by Mark Walters. He's the OHR interim director. He discussed changes to the Fair Labor Standards Act. We've also heard quite a bit about this, so I won't rehash everything. But essentially, the big change that's going to happen is that there will be a new salary threshold for determining who is hourly versus who can be salaried, and that's been set by the federal government as $47,000 or so. And about 2,200 positions will be switched from salary to hourly starting on December 1st, but they're not going to switch groups, so they won't switch from academic staff to university staff. And I think that for more questions about that, I would talk to Nancy Gresham. Then for most of the presentation was really, most of the meeting was really a presentation that was given by Rebecca Blank, Chancellor of the University. She first talked about the biennial budget. We're in the new biennial budget cycle, and there are lots of issues that are being discussed in the state government about what will be focused on in the new biennial budget. So the governor will apparently be discussing all those issues and ideas for the new budget in January, and then the state legislature will approve that budget in June. So that's something that will be coming up, obviously very important. There was a budget forum that the Chancellor organized that was held back in October. If you were not able to attend that, there's a link. The link is in the notes, and so if you go to the Librarians Assembly committee page, you get to the Academic Staff Assembly notes, and there's a link that you click on to watch that budget forum. If you're interested. The Chancellor has started a promotion and marketing campaign to really promote the university within the state of Wisconsin. She's been traveling across the state, going from county to county, and the theme is "It's time to reinvest in the University of Wisconsin." So she's apparently either already gone to or will be soon visiting 72 Wisconsin counties this fall, and trying to see if rebuild the UW brand so that we can be clear on the value that the university has to the entire state of Wisconsin and Wisconsin MBA, etc. Obviously, another issue that Chancellor discussed, campus climate. There were a number of incidents that occurred in campus this past spring. The Academic Staff Assembly called for training conversations about campus climate, and the provost is putting together a series of classes. The Chancellor is asking all units to hold these kinds of conversations, and it's because it's important that we make sure that all students are trained in how to live in a diverse and inclusive society. Other issues that were discussed. Ian Benton, it's really important that he's not here. Maybe he will be able to talk about this in the future. He is a co-chair of the districting and representation committee. He presented some information about the sizes of the districts that are part of the Academic Staff Assembly. When the Academic Staff Assembly was started quite a few years ago, the size of the districts were set at 35 to 75 members per district. The size of the academic staff has grown from 1994, we had 5,286 academic staff on campus, and now we have more than 8,800 academic staff. So the number of people that are assigned per district has kind of gotten out of phase. And so they're going to be looking at ways to essentially redistrict the campus so that academic staff have adequate representation in the academic staff assembly. There are a number of different ideas. There hasn't been like a motion put forward to the academic staff assembly yet to vote on exactly how those changes might happen. So it's just sort of like the conversation is being started now. There is a petition that's out there to get it onto the slate of things that the academic staff assembly will vote on. I think there are quite a few issues that the committee will have to figure out first before you get to that part. And then the last thing, and I thought this was really important to just read the whole thing. There was a resolution that was passed in the academic staff assembly supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion. So there is a university statement, and I'm just going to read the statement. And so the campus statement on diversity, equity, and inclusion says, diversity is a source of strength, creativity, and innovation for UW-Madison. We value the contributions of each person and respect profound ways their identity, culture, background, experience, status, abilities, and appealing enrich the university community. We commit ourselves to the pursuit of excellence in teaching, research, outreach, and diversity as inextricably linked goals. The University of Wisconsin-Madison fulfills its public mission by creating a welcoming and inclusive community for people from every background, people who as students, faculty, and staff serve Wisconsin and the world. So the Academic Staff Assembly voted to support that statement. And so that was the last thing that the Academic Staff Assembly voted on at the October 10th meeting, and I thought that was very appropriate for something the Academic Staff Assembly to take on. So I'd like to go the next group of meetings.
We'll talk about the meeting that happened this past Monday. It was actually a pretty low-key meeting with several guest speakers with updates from various campus entities. A couple of resolutions were passed with absolutely no debate. It's never happened. We had a word with you guys early. It was cool. So the first update, and forgive me if I can read my notes, I haven't had a chance to type these up yet, came from the Office of Employee Assistance. So Sherry Broger presented about some of the kind of the top issues for academic staff that have been brought to her attention. So surprise, surprise, the first one was job-related stress. Then also the second one is people concerned about the occupation or career could be related kind of to job-related stress, or how do I up my skills if I want to move on to a different position or be able to get that promotion that I'd like. So that's the difference there. Third place is employee conflict. And she stressed that this was both as individuals. So individuals maybe having an issue with one person, talking about how I want to resolve that, and then also small groups. So I thought that that was important to note that they will you can go into the small group and say, you have a small committee or a work unit, a small work unit that maybe has some series of conflicts that would like some outside assistance. So they're very amenable to that. That was a little bit new to me, so I was happy to hear about that. The fourth highest piece is employee performance, and that's coming both from the employee themselves and also from supervisors maybe wanting to help raise up the level of achievement of their employees. So both angles there. And then fifth, personal issues. So for those of you who haven't been aware, they also should kind of stress that you can go through a variety of personal issues in a confidential environment. They are doing some steps to work improving prevention for a variety of issues. And so she introduced one of the newest employees, Susan Passad, I believe her name is. She has a background in employee assistance, both as internal and external. So she's been kind of person brought in, and then she's also worked within a variety of units in a variety of governance and public and private kind of places. So she's got a wealth of experience. And one thing that she did in prior jobs, she did a lot of work in trades where apparently there was a high suicide rate. And so she was doing a lot to help with prevention. And so she's bringing some of her background on that to help a variety of prevention issues here, kind of some details yet to be worked out. They're also working with Well Wisconsin, specifically to do a financial fitness challenge. So ways that we can kind of improve some of the other stressors that might be in our life, right? So you'd get 30 days free with a financial plan. So I thought that was interesting. There's Ombuds Office reports came from Joanne Card. So 150 years of total experience. These are all retired people who have worked pretty much in HR on campus. So it serves all UW employees. They've got to contact them directly if you need assistance on anything. And this, she pointed out, includes student employees. So you don't have to be academic staff or university staff or faculty. It does include student employees. One thing that they are trying to do this year is starting to track issues brought to them related to hostile and intimidating behavior. So I think that's a wonderful thing that we're starting to hopefully get some more data on that. It's not wonderful that they're needing to track it, but just to kind of keep us all informed. They have received about a 90% increase of total services, but there's also something in the medical school related to office in the medical school where the woman retired, and so the services got folded in. So the numbers are a little misleading, but there are some big increase. And so some of their top 3 things, evaluation issues. So if you have a problem with some of how you are being evaluated as an employee, peer and colleague conflict. So in other words, you're basically not feeling respected in a variety of ways. And then also career progression, both as job security and kind of ambiguity of how do I move forward. So some things are very related, as you might have noticed with the Office of Employee Assistance. They refer to each other back and forth to kind of help get staff, employees, the assistants that best suits their needs. And so, yeah, I mentioned they're tracking more hostile environments, but they're also working on sort of revising their data collection process so that way they can generate more specific reports to help track issues on campus and keep us informed. We have an update from Rebecca Scholler, the outgoing co-chair of the campus women's, I think that's a whole full, yeah, thank you, Committee on Women. There are 3 kind of main mission points, which just kind of basically improve workplace and the campus environment for women, collaborate with other units to work on that, and then evaluate and monitor different issues on campus. So some of their accomplishments for this year, they were able to start working with Provost and Chancellor to get a new early child care and education location on campus. They are collaborating with a variety of groups in particular relation to the sexual assault report that came out last year, so what can we do for education and improving outreach. And they've also recently completed a review of salary data related to academic staff. Prior year they did for faculty, and then university staff is upcoming. So we don't have the full results of that yet, but that's coming. And their goals for this year is to focusing on the campus climate with relations to diversity and inclusion, increase support for parents, and then also look into issues of faculty retention. It's a start. You know, I think if you look at the salary review data, they started with faculty, then you're doing academic staff, then there's university staff. Yeah, we'll leave it there. So then we have a variety of other reports, some standing committee reports, kind of updates from the workplace environment group where there's an adult leadership policy with relations to minors. So basically it's sort of a UW system-wide, I believe, that basically you can't work with minors one-on-one except for special instruction circumstances, like you're doing music lessons, for example. But even in that, you have to make sure that the students always have clear access to a door and that there's always a window. So I didn't realize we had a policy of that on campus. That was a nice update.
On the standing committee reports from ASEC, there's going to be another 4 months for the titling and compensation report to really get going. They're working on getting the outside consultant hired. Update from ASPRO. The main thing that we all should be aware of is that many of you may have heard, campus carry is going to be reintroduced in the state legislature this year. Right now, concealed carry is allowed on campus, but not in buildings. And so this campus carry is going to allow concealed carry in buildings if passed. So just be aware, it was brought up, I think, last year and dropped from the docket in State Congress Assembly. It's being brought back, being reintroduced. The two, both resolutions that passed have pertain directly to us. First was to have a pay plan. So basically, we haven't seen like all across the board pay increase. There are a lot of issues with that that we brought out in the resolution, and so again, voted without debate. On this one, like, yes, please. So to bring in 2% in for the first biennium and 2.5 in the second year of the biennium budget. So that passed again without debate. And the other one was to take a look at the prefix review, again, carried without debate. So the distinguished prefix review, looking at kind of some alterations and changing to the procedure. And so again, that went without debate. And a person from Human Resources, campus-wide Human Resources came. This is the last update from the meeting's adjourned. They're looking into new hiring practices, again, bringing and folding in again more diversity and inclusive language campus-wide. Looking at they have minimum qualifications on instruction. And then also they have formed through various shared governance subcommittees on campus, an ad hoc committee to look at family leave for academic staff. So right now that committee has been formed and they are kind of forming the actual charge. Any questions? We'll get the minutes sent out once everything's compiled on the wiki that we have set up.
And finally, we have an update on the service delivery model project from Sheila and Deb.
I'm Sheila, Local Director of Teaching and Learning.
I'm Deb Hellman, Director of Science and Engineering Library.
So we're just giving a really quick update about the service delivery module project. I know a lot of people in the room right now are either leading one of the clusters that are going on or involved. So there's over 50 staff members that are engaged in this particular phase of developing the service delivery model. And so this particular, we started with developing the service philosophy, so an overlying core principles that we'd be working with while looking at our services. And the next two steps are looking at the current state of our services and then brainstorming, visioning, ideating where we might want to go with how we organize and design our services for our patrons and our users. So right now we're in this, many of the clusters, so there's 4 clusters. One is space as a service, the second is collections and material services, the third is material transactions, and the fourth is research and scholarly communication. Many of them are kind of in the phase of looking at our current state of services. But then late November and December, we'll be looking at what are some ideas about how we want to portray and organize our services in the future. Like I said, a lot of folks are involved in these particular clusters, but I know that other folks are involved by providing information or ideas. And so thank you for everybody participating in this project. And I know it's a fast turnaround. In the spring semester, we'll then be having another group to come around and basically be the sketch group, the wireframe group, to make decisions about what we might want to have our services actually look like. And there'll be robust feedback involved in that particular part of the project.
No, that's a good summary. But I'd also just like to say thanks to everyone who's involved because it's been, we set a very fast-paced process, and people have just kind of embraced it and have gone with it, and are doing a great job. So I think that needs to be recognized, and so I appreciate that. Any questions?
I think this is helpful too, just for people who aren't involved. They might not be aware of all of it.
Yeah, so I noticed, I followed the traffic saying the public service delivery model, and it's not, we talked a little bit about, I mean, you did run through the clusters, but services, can you talk a little bit about what services encompass, or, you know?
So this was really meant to look at like all of our services, because at the end of the day, all of our services are services to our users, and so we're really trying to get to the point where we think about them that way, and then we talk about them together. So those clusters were supposed to be a best shot at a way that can group together different things from different service areas, not just public services, and so we tried to include that and make sure that we're really reflecting that our entire library system is a service, including not just the things that we traditionally consider public service.
Thank you. Thank you for all coming. Anything else?
You can gavel.
Yes. There's another meeting I was at, and we decided we needed to gavel. All right. Well, thank you.
Okay.